نحمده ونصلي على رسوله الكريم أما بعد رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي وربنا زدنا علما اللهم فقهنا في الدين. Okay, so from yesterday's class, let's do a little recap. Okay, anyone wants to volunteer for recap? Or I'm gonna start calling out. Okay, Zara.
Yesterday we started Surah Ikhlas, and we did the first verse, which so two verses, actually, yeah, two verses. The first verse said
Three, we did three, yeah.
Oh yeah, sorry, yeah, three. So like one says, say He Allah the One, Allah is absolute. Say He is Allah the One, Allah is absolute. He neither begets nor is He born.
That's
then,
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
And then the third one, I think I erased it by accident.
No, actually, you did the third one.
No, the third one was the begets nor.
Oh yeah, sorry.
The second one was Allah is absolute, and the first one is say He is Allah the One.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So let me ask, do you remember the meaning of ahad?
The only one.
The only one. Good job. Who remembers the meaning of as-samad? Rohan?
I was finding the. Wait. Can you repeat that? I was finding the page.
Right. The meaning of as-samad, do you remember?
Absolute, right?
Absolute. That's right. Okay. What does the word yalid mean? Sumaya?
Yes.
What does this word yalid means? Or lam yalid mean?
He begets.
Yeah, he does not beget. Okay, lam will be with it, so it's gonna be he does not beget. Mahnoor, what does the word qul mean?
Say.
Say, good job. Okay, okay. Qul huwallahu ahad. Inaya, what does this ayah mean?
Say He is Allah the One.
Good. Allahu samad. She's, what does that mean?
Allah is absolute.
Good job. Lam yalid walam yulad. What does that mean, Alisha?
He does not beget nor is begotten.
Good. Awesome. Okay. So what we did yesterday was we talked about these three ayahs and we said that this is a summary of the biggest concept in Islam, which is Tawheed, which is oneness of Allah. This summarizes the entire thing, the entire concept of our belief in Allah in just 4 verses, which is Allah is the one, Allah is the unique one, Allah is the only one, Allah is the absolute one, which means Allah is not in need of anyone. Allah does not care. We, His creation, we are in need. We need Him. He does not need anything. He's above and beyond all the kind of needs. And when it comes to needs, a lot of us are revolving around family and kids and parents and jobs and earning and food. Allah does not have any such needs. He does not have any kids and family, and He does not have any parents. He wasn't born to anyone. Okay. Let's go to next ayah. Okay. Walam yakul lahu kufuwan ahad. Walam yakul lahu kufuwan ahad. Walam, what does it mean? Anyone?
and not.
And not. Good job. Just did that up right here. Here. Yakun. Yakun means is. So there are two words in Arabic, kana and yakun. Kana means was and yakun means is. Very simple. Lahu, for him.
For him.
Good. Since we are talking about Allah, so we're going to make the H capital.
Next one's equal.
Kufuwan means
Equal.
equal or equivalent.
Yeah.
My kids usually, they make fun of me when I say this word because I say it in a very, desi style. I say equivalent. I know you say it differently. So, but yeah,
It's kind of funny.
they just
It
laugh
is.
when I say it, but that's what it is.
The way we pronounce it is equivalent.
Equivalent? Am I right
Yeah.
now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, like at least that's how I pronounce it. All my teachers, all my friends.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many words that, I used to say differently, and even my teachers used to say differently. And now people here say it different. We try to adapt.
Doesn't ahad mean the one?
Yes, ahad means the one, but since we will make this sentence in a flowing order, that's why we change the meaning slightly. And as I said, when you say ahad has a meaning of uniqueness. So when you say something is unique, that comes like, okay, no one, nothing, anyone. So that's where that meaning comes in. So just to make sense of the sentence, here we're going to say anyone. Otherwise, you're right. It means the one or the unique one. Okay, so now what's going to be the translation? وَلَمْ يَكُنْ لَهُ كُفُوًا أَحَدٌ. That's basically the translation. And there is nothing like him. Okay. Okay, are you guys done writing?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. Okay, so we finish off the surah by saying that there is no example that you can give. Sometimes we're trying to explain something to somebody who hasn't seen that thing before. A lot of times we give examples and we try to explain. It is usually said that by giving examples, it is easier for others to understand. And even Allah has done the same thing in Quran. In order to explain a lot of things, Allah has given examples, asked us to look at something, to understand something else. But when it comes to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, there is nothing like him. There is absolutely no comparison. Allah told us that he has a hand. He has two hands, actually. Now, is his hands are going to be like our hands? No, absolutely not. Not at all. We don't know what exactly. It is above and beyond our imagination and our understanding. And usually what I tell my students a lot, that we can only understand something which we already know or which we already have seen. So for example, we have liquid, we have water. Imagine we were born on a planet where we never saw water or a liquid. It was something totally alien to us. Can you think a way to explain somebody like, okay, or for example, we have seen water. We want to explain somebody from another planet who has never seen water before. can we explain to that person, oh, this is what it is? If we want to tell that person, oh, it's a liquid, he's going to ask, what is a liquid? What is it? What do you mean by that? Solid, liquid? I don't know. Yes, Riz?
Well, in a way, you could explain it to them, but it would have they would have to have like a lot of understanding capacity for it.
Yes.
But since they've never seen it before, it would be
Yes.
really hard to explain to them.
Yeah, I mean, it's imagine somebody from ancient times comes, you're talking to somebody and try to explain that person who has never seen a phone before, for example. How are you going to explain that person? This is what I have. This is an app. This is this. I do this. It's not easy for somebody who has never seen that thing before to understand. So the point is, not only that it is difficult for us, we have never seen something like this, it is beyond our understanding and imagination that how Allah will be, and our naked eye cannot even have this ability to see Allah. Yes, Riz?
Well, if you want like a world like example, like now, it would kind of like be like if you just like started like first grade or something, and then somebody comes up to you with like algebra. It's kind of like that. And you have to explain to them what algebra is and like whatnot.
Great example. Yes. I mean, somebody who just started school, you cannot start, explaining that person the entire algebra, just like Riz said, or, some complicated science stuff, chemistry, you cannot. They're not going to understand anything.
Like,
So
like about ribosomes and messenger and transfer RNAs.
Yeah. And it is what we need to understand here is what we are and what Allah is. This entire surah brings us, each one of us, to our place. It says that there is a time and place for everything, and everybody has his or her place. So that is our place. That is who we are. I mean, we think something of ourselves, but when it comes to Allah, we are nothing. So we need to understand how we should behave when it comes to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, how grand He is and how little we are, how less we are, how small we are, or how big He is. There is absolutely no comparison. And this surah will probably bring you to a point where you can think that, even if somebody who has a grand status in this world, we think twice before we talk about that person. We have certain respect, certain ways to talk about. We have, we follow certain protocol. We don't disrespect. But when it comes to Allah, especially a lot of other religions, they don't care. They sometimes even make fun of God. That is where we come and we know, okay, this is something serious. This is serious business. We can't make fun of it. We cannot make fun of Allah. We are not even, there yet. How could we? We are so little. Like, in front of a mountain, we are not even close to an ant. Not even that. So listening to this and hearing this, we internalize that, okay, this is our place. When it comes to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we are nothing. We don't really have, a choice or a way to say something about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala without even thinking. That's the respect that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala deserves, because He is what He is. Okay. So, can I do this? Okay. Okay, you guys can still see my screen, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So that's our surah. We finished our second surah. We can spend 10 more minutes where I can ask to tell me, what did you learn? Okay, so let's see. Think about it. Okay, Riz can go and others can think about it. I'm going to come to a few of you for that. Yes, Riz?
It's like bringing us closer to Allah. One, because like all the things you listed here, and also because it's 1/3 of the Quran. So it's like it's like the biggest thing that you could like read. And then this is how you'll figure out like what Allah is, like how who He is and whatnot.
And
it's like if you just converted, this is what you could read. It's like, you know, get started.
Yes, that's the basic introduction of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and in the most concise possible manner. Good. Yes, Zara?
This surah is basically, it's 1/3 of the Quran. It makes us feel close to Allah, and it's basically teaching us a little bit more about Allah, of like how He's merciful and kind. He's like neither born or gives birth, and like that kind of stuff, and like respecting Allah and like how He created everything, kind of.
Awesome. Very good. Ruhan?
I learned that this surah is kind of like a cheat code to get rewards.
Very nice. Yeah, that's a good takeaway that you took from our yesterday's lesson. Okay. So you read this surah 3 times, you actually get a reward for as if you recited the entire Quran. Good job. Okay. She's?
I learned that that this surah is describing on who Allah really is, as in the second ayat it said Allah is absolute. He's like he begets and is not and he's begotten. It basically tells like the main thing on who Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is. And I also learned that when you read this surah, it gives you 1/3 of the Quran.
That's right. Wonderful. Awesome. Zara, you have something else to say?
All right, I just forgot to lower my hand.
Okay, good. Riz, do you have something else to say?
So it's kind of like what we do. Sometimes my mom, like whenever I'm like outside or something, or not just outside, but like anywhere sometimes, if I'm like reading the Quran, she always tells me to read Surah Fatiha and then read the Surah Ikhlas 3 times. She always tells me to do that. Now I figured out why.
Yeah, and it is one of the ways. I mean, we read, and we're going to read Surah Ikhlas, Surah Falaq and Nas. These are forms of protection as well. We read, these are kind of du'as that we do for protection as well, inshallah. So that is also one of the reasons why we do it.
Are we going to do Ayatul Kursi, since that technically is also
I learned Ayatul Kursi when I was 6.
Yes. Ayatul Kursi is, who knows in which juz Ayatul Kursi is?
First, second is first. It's in third?
Yes, third juz. It's the beginning of third juz. That's right. So as of now, I did not plan it because I plan to do the juz 30th first. But we can definitely, you know, do it. Why not? Inshallah. Okay, I want a little more focus on the word as-samad because that's a very unique word. I want a little more on that. Who can tell me more? Saifullah.
So basically, as-samad means absolute, and that means that Allah doesn't need anybody, but we need Him.
Okay. And there are a lot of other meanings that are included in the word as-samad. For example, He is all-knowing and He's perfect in His knowledge. He is most wise and He's perfect in His wisdom. Nobody can reach Him in that level. He is most perfect in all aspects of nobility and authority. And these are the words of Sahaba that I'm reading. These are different quotes that we have in definition of this word. Just imagine how deep this word is, that it has like so many other meanings to it. Riz?
One of the other meanings was like he's dependent on none.
Yes.
So he can like get whatever he wants since he's the creator of all.
Yes. And
he doesn't need anybody else.
He does not need anybody, and everybody else needs Him. So, when there is, imagine somebody who you need, but he does not need you. And there's a very, interesting thing. If you like kind of imagine people like that, somebody of very, how do you say, power and authority. And you think that, okay, I need him or her. How are usually those people?
It's kind of like it's like your teacher. That's a good example. When you're learning something for the first time, like we are now, the teacher is helping us, and we need them to figure it out.
Yeah. Now, what I'm saying was, like, for example, think of somebody with immense power.
The police.
Like, yeah, police, or even president, some president,
Prime
or
Minister, Queen.
Prime Minister. Yeah. Somebody who has so much authority, and if somebody comes to him who is absolute in need, how do sometimes people behave? How do people react? They're sometimes very, very arrogant, right?
Yeah, they'll ignore them.
Yeah, but Allah isn't ignorant.
Yeah, they won't even care sometimes, a lot of times. But that's what Allah is. Allah is the Rabb. He cares. Shees, did you raise your hand?
Yeah, I was going to say what you were going to say.
Okay, yes. So that's what sometimes we see. In fact, a lot of times we see that people who are in a position of authority, they become arrogant. They become careless. They only care about themselves. But that's not what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is. And here we come to the conclusion that we come to after reading all this, is that if Allah is the only creator, if Allah is the only one that we need, if Allah is like, there is nothing like Allah, He is the God, He is the Lord, then who deserves worship? Only Allah deserves worship, no one else. And even that, imagine, like, for example, we say that this is something that Allah does not like, associating partners with Him, or adding other gods with Allah, or, attributing the things that are supposed to be attributed to Allah to somebody else. And we sometimes say, okay, Allah is not going to forgive that. Now the question is why? Why Allah will not forgive this? Like, okay, we don't ask Allah for our needs. We ask somebody else. Like, people have different beliefs. They go to shrines to ask. They go to, other places to ask. People believe in other prophets. They start asking, like Jesus, oh, Jesus, can you please give me this? Why Allah does not forgive this? Yes, Riz?
Because like it says in the first ayah, say He is Allah the one. So we shouldn't be asking anybody else but Him.
Yeah, that's right. We shouldn't be. That's true. We know it. We shouldn't. But why this is such a grave sin? Because, we need to understand, at some point, somebody would say, so what? Allah knows He is the God, but if somebody does this mistake and asks somebody else, so what? It's okay. He does not even know. Even if he knows and he's not able to understand, so what? Yes, you're right, Sumaya. Jesus is the prophet to us, but is Jesus God?
No.
No.
This is not God. So what is the job and duty of a prophet?
To convey the message of
To convey the message. That's right. Can we ask the prophets to, help us or give us, for example, I don't have a job. Can you please help me?
No.
We don't, right?
Because they're only there for the conveying of the message.
So
they're like Allah's servants.
They are Allah's servants. They are just like us as humans, except that they have a different status in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Just like, they're brilliant students and they're backbenchers. So the prophets are brilliant students. They are chosen people from Allah, but essentially they're humans. They only do what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told them to do. They are not God. That's the mistake that people did. They made them God. They start asking them. And Allah does not, this is something that Allah not only does not like, this is something that is the worst. Allah does not hate anything else more than Allah hates this. Now I'm going to leave you with just, one example. You know that you are kids of your parents. We might have heard stories. Some kids grow up and they refuse to accept their parents. No, you're not my mom. I don't like you. But are parents going to like that?
No.
No, right? So this is something worse for a parent, for their child to tell them, you're not my mom anymore. You're not my dad anymore. I don't accept you as my mom and dad. You cannot tell me what to do. This is the worst thing for a parent. Although parents do not provide, they only provide what Allah has given you. That's from there. They're not the real provider, but still what we get from our parents. What we see is our parents giving us, providing us food, clothing, education. We don't see Allah doing it for us. But imagine if parents do not like, if we do this to them, how could Allah like? If we refuse to accept that Allah has given us everything. Allah is the one who's doing this. So I'm going to leave you with this. This is very, very important. This is the foundation of our religion for our rest of our lives, to remember the status of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in our lives. Okay, inshallah, jazakallahu khairan. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika. Nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta. Subhanaka.